All right, so homebrew options. To go along with your variant rule, here's some variants for that.
If obtaining power, if the character is getting too powerful, or you're really worried about that power creep because maybe you have some players who you know are power gamers and are very good at what they do, then here's an option that might be able to tone it down a bit, which is increase the stat prerequisite to 14 instead of 13.
Yeah, this is a small change. Very small change. And really, it only affects point buy, mostly.
Yes.
Because point buy, you only have a certain amount of points you can pull off. But as most people know who's ever done point buy, you typically end up with a 16 or 17, a 14, a 13, 12, 11, 10. You end up with that typical amount of stats.
Yeah.
Some variants here or there, but the 13 is their third stat, and they don't really need it for much. They just use it for power build.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways that people honestly can abuse that, where it's like, okay, I'm only going to go 13 in here because the other things I'm getting from this class are so good that I don't need a high stat. I just need the abilities that come with this subclass.
Yeah, and making it a 14 forces a player to basically pick one of their second stats or their top stat to also multiclass with, which could have caused problems for multiclassing in Monk, Paladin, or Ranger. Also, what it does is later on in the campaign, they might, if they want to pick up that extra multiclass, they're going to have to pick up bonuses and stats, which is actually how you're supposed to play, and you might use the other variant rule for feats. But a lot of people use feats.
Yes.
Instead of just having the normal stats, because feats are also fun.
Yes.
So they're going to have to take 1 and 1 in stats or 2 in stat just so they can multi-class in that character, and then you're pushing back what they can get to 4th level or beyond, typically 5th level, because they have to pick it up at 4th and then 5th level. Then, okay, now I can become that thing.
Yeah, it's just a good way to tone it down a bit, but not make it just extremely hard.
Right. They can still do what they want. They just have to work for it just a little bit more.
What it really does is kills Munchkin builds.
Yeah, Munchkin builds are dead.
It's like oh yeah, I've got five levels in 5 different classes because I wanted this, and this, and it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, you take away that somewhat of a headache. It's mostly a headache for the DM and other players going, why you have all these things? What is it going to do? Takes away the Rube Goldberg machine that is a Munchkin build.
Yeah. Now, see, another thing, another option you could do is you make multiclassing the way it was in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, which was you start out as a class. Mm-hmm. At any point you multiclass into a different class, that class level has capped out. The previous class level capped out. Your new class level, that's the only thing you're allowed to gain levels in until you multiclass into another thing.
Yep, it's done.
But yeah, it basically just caps it out. So if you had 3 levels in Fighter and you suddenly went into Barbarian, well, now Barbarian is the only thing you're allowed to level up in. You can't level up Fighter anymore.
Yep, it's over with. And that will cause... it won't stop a lot of strong builds because they'll just they'll go up in what they need to in the first one, and then they'll go up in the next one. But what it does do is it keeps people from jumping back and forth or really trying to, well, I'm going to take 1 level in this, then 2 levels of that, then 1 level in this one to take another level in this to get that, and they leapfrog these abilities.
It kind of streamlines the flow of their character,
which it's not really going to hurt most people, but it will make them do a logical progression.
Yes, it makes it easier for the DM to go, okay, well, they're going to do this first, then they're going to come into this, and then they're going to come into this. But it also makes it easier for the character to role play because they're like, okay, well, I got this many levels to do this, and at some point I've got to find someone or something to get me to this next level, and then after I get this, then I'm going to have to get find something else to get to this next portion. Yeah. So like it gives the player a good idea.
Yeah, which that leads pretty well into our next point. Well, another homebrew you can do is the only way they can level in a class, especially in a multi-class, is they got to get training. They got to prove that something's got to happen. It's got to either be an event or a training that's forced this upon them to where they can actually level. And I mean that was in some previous editions of variant rules as well. Right. I think it was also in second edition, and I know it was in third edition where there was variant rule of, well, if you want to become a level of paladin, you've got to go train to become a paladin. Yeah, you had to find a temple or an order or a sect that would actually train you. You had to give up certain things. I mean, there also could be moments of, well, you want to level a warlock. Well, find the ritual to contact your patron. You need to go through the process to actually get in touch with this person. Yeah. Or thing or whatever it is, this entity that's going to give you power. It doesn't know you exist. Why would it suddenly know you exist? It's it's not like a god. Yeah, it's worried about other things, or it's other followers that have already contacted it. Like, why did you suddenly pop on the chart? Especially like making them write the pact out. If you want to become a warlock, what's the deal between you two? Why is he giving you power? Let's find out why. Or training as a fighter. It's like, well, I need to go back into practice. I need to take back what I've learned and then hone my skills. Or maybe a more studious fighter, like a battle master, might have actually taken the time to, from what he's learned, wrote it down and practiced his new abilities on things that he's seen and gone, well, if I would have done this in this case, then I would have done it. If I would have tripped him here, then I would have been better. So I'm going to learn how to trip him now. Just taking that extra time for them to be forced to do something for that level. You don't have to make it a campaign. You don't have to make it a quest or anything like that. You could, but just a downtime activity over a session. Like, hey, everybody, you all leveled up. How are you going to get your level? Yeah, because for instance, the Draconic Sorcerer, that's kind of something that can just happen. But what if it was, oh, you want this? Okay, well, instead, you have to find, it's there, but you got to find a way to awaken it. Yeah, like, oh, suddenly you spurt fire from your mouth. You don't understand. Maybe fire doesn't affect you as much, but you have to go find a red dragon scale, or you got to go eat. Yeah, you got to consume something. Or the dragon that you're associated or typed with, you got to find that a dragon of that type and drink their blood. Yeah, or maybe you just need to be christened by them, or whatever their element is, you got to go be bathed in it. If it's acid or something, you got to go jump in a pool of acid. It's gonna suck, but you'll come out as your bloodline. Something's got to activate it. There's just several cases that you can play, and you don't necessarily have to forcefully harm your player to get these, but that does create role play moments, and really makes every level they pick significant. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because they had to work for it. Anybody who knows, if you work for it, you care about it more. And a lot of the homebrew rules we've talked about are more restricting. Yeah. So let's unrestrict. Yeah. So what if you just take off all the prerequisites? That's right. Get rid of them. Throw them away. Yeah. So open the floodgates. Let it go. There is no 13 stat for them to multi-class. Just let them just do whatever. And I mean, if you're playing that type of game, maybe they don't have to explain anything. As long as you and the DM have an understanding, like, hey, listen, whatever you guys pick, you guys don't have to explain anything. Yeah. We're just going to go. We're just going to roll with it. Yeah, if that's what you find is fun, that's what you find is fun. It doesn't mean you have to be good at it. You can be terrible at it. There's lots of people who get jobs that they're terrible at their jobs and eventually learn that they suck at it and go pick another job. That doesn't stop you from trying. Yeah, because once you take that restriction away, man, the power opportunities of what people could make is crazy. Who's not going to take 2 levels into Hexblade just so they can have
2 first-level spells and 2 first-level shields at any time.
Yeah. I mean, it really opens up the possibilities.
Or maybe you're going to take levels into Grave Cleric so you can make somebody vulnerable to all damage, even though you got an 8 Wisdom. Yeah. Who cares? You don't need the perks of having an 8 Wisdom. You just wanted these abilities.
It also opens up things like, well, I can be a Paladin and a Ranger. You know, I don't have to have 4 stats to make this work. I can just just be it. You know, you don't have to worry about the 3 stats because, like, I played a Paladin Wizard. You know how hard it is to play a Paladin Wizard? Intelligence is not an easy stat that goes with any other thing.
Right.
But if somebody just said, hey, don't worry about it. You know, you can be a wizard and you'll just not be as great at it.
Yeah, you'll just...
But I can do the thing. I can be an Arcane Paladin. That's awesome. So it opens up another just possibility for people. Fortunately, it will lead to greater power.
The power
that you gotta watch out for
can be there. Is definitely there,
but it does. It creates another slew of options.
Oh, absolutely. And then something else. If you're if you're still worried about the power creep, and like you're the DM that doesn't want to deal with characters that are just crazy powerful, is maybe restrict the multiclassing to you're only multiclassing to two classes. Two subclasses. That's it.
You get 2 classes. You get your main one and you get your off one. That's it. Those are the only 2 you ever get, and that won't affect a whole lot of people. But it will affect some, and it'll make people make choices. You know, what am I going to do? You know, they're going to really want to plan it out and really go with it. What am I going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely stops that champion fighter, barbarian, paladin smiting hellaciousness.
Yeah.
Or, you know, someone who's going to be the assassin rogue who took a couple of levels in monk with warlock.
Yeah. You know, turn on the darkness and assassinate somebody.
Yeah.
You know, some crazy crap like that. But it will definitely tone it to manageable. It's like you're not really taking anything away from your party. But for the DM, it's becoming a little bit more manageable on the multi-class front.
Yeah. And also, here's another option. It is a little more restrictive. I understand why it doesn't get done, but something that could help adjust the power creep is, you know, a lot of people have options to casting in 5th edition. Like, there's so many different, almost every class other than Barbarian has access to spell casting.
Barbarians even have some abilities to cast rituals.
Rituals, yes.
Yeah, some spells.
But if you say, okay, whatever class you get, the cantrips you get in that class, they only level, not with your character level, but with your class level.
Yeah, that will put a real big hurt on any of these power builds that are based off a level.
Yeah, because it kind of doesn't. It, like, in some aspects, I understand it. It's just an easy way for the game to flow and progress. But it kind of doesn't make sense when you got a 17th level fighter who took a 1 level dip into Warlock, but can now throw 3 Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Or 3 bolts every time he does Eldritch Blast. When you have a actual Warlock who's 17th level, and it's like, wait a minute, what? I've been training this the whole character progression. You just took 1 level dip and yours are as strong as mine? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it takes a little bit more explaining for that to really work. But I mean, that could go across the board. You could just say, the levels in class are what your class will be based off of. So if you take levels in this, if you're 5 levels of Paladin and 5 levels of Warlock, well, those are just the 5 levels you are of each one. You know, the only thing we're going to give you is the proficiency. Everything else, that's it. You are classified as 5 levels of Warlock. You are classified as 5 levels of Paladin. You are a 10th level character in proficiency because that's the only way to make it fair. But everything else, you're stuck at. You have the same spell slots of what a 5 level Warlock would, and you have the same spell slots of what a 5 level Paladin would. Same abilities. You don't get to bump up. That's it.
Yeah, and imagine if you even made it to where you couldn't interchange spell slots.
Yeah. You could get... We could really go down a rabbit hole on this one. Like, there's several ways you could just cut people down at the knees on this multiclassing from certain restrictions that you can put.
But, I mean, one thing I have to say is the reason we have a lot more detrimental things as opposed to positive things is because in multiclassing, there's just so much more of a power creep. And sometimes you have to do these things to tone it down so that it's fun for everybody.
And we've honestly learned that the hard way from 3rd edition. Because a lot of the same kind of problems have popped up.
Third edition.
Third edition. That's popping up now.
What was it? A 7th level kobold that could kill the gods, kill everything. It got ridiculous.
I think it was even lower than that. I think it was like a sixth level kobold.
Jeez.
6th or 5th level. There's some crazy amount. Had to do some really crazy hoops, but it's possible. But with the multiclassing as it is, we've learned that you gain more power from more options.
Yeah.
Options are good, but it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, which, I mean, we've also learned that in the lower levels, that's where the power creep is really there. It balances out when you get to higher levels.
That's true. This is something we probably should have talked to in maybe the bad of multiclassing. Honestly, a higher level single class will be more strong than a multi-class character. They will have access to abilities that run the whole level, that are all pumped up by them, higher spells, just stronger all-out things that they can do. Yes, they have less options in some cases. Not really in the monk's case. The monk case has tons of options. But they will be able to do something better than a character that's 3, 3, and 7 or something.
Yeah.
That 15th level wizard will say, I have 8th level spells? Yes? 7th level spells?
Yeah.
8th level spells?
Your highest level spell is 4th?
Yeah.
Because you've multiclassed into 2 different things?
I'm going to finger a death you. Let's hope. See if you survive. Ray of Disintegration. Some of the really scary things you can do. The fighter. Oh my God, nobody ever takes fighters all the way up. Most of the time, well, some people do, I guess, but fighters high up have the most attacks base than any other class.
4 attacks, 5 if you're a dual wielder.
A champion fighter, in my opinion, is one of the best subclasses in the game. Just because, numbers-wise, he's going to end up doing more damage than a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just on average, not crazy builds that you guys are going to come up with multiclassing, but on average, the fact that crits on a 18 to 20, and he has 4, possibly 5 attacks, and he has a action surge you can do. I mean, that's a lot of power from one class. One class that just says, I'm just on average better than you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But that doesn't stop multiclassing from being powerful. Yeah, it's just
it does balance out, but most people don't play high level.
Yeah, you're rarely going to see that balance. You're going to feel it mostly at the lower level.
Yeah,
or feel the off balance at the lower levels. Under 12 is really, I think, where you'll feel this unbalance, feel this need to cause some restrictions, or the need for a lot of these things. Under 12, once you get 13 or higher, I don't feel like it really matters at that point.
No.
Higher tier D&D really balances itself by the fact that it's difficult.
Yeah.
It gets hard and things do crazy things, and you should just expect it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's those are our opinions on multiclassing.
Yeah. There's a lot. This is a little bit longer video. We understand, but we feel strongly that this is a topic that a lot of people in a lot of gaming groups need to really discuss and understand. And if you like it, please share it with them and hit that bell notification.
Yeah. But if you guys feel differently from us, leave the comments down in the section. Like, let's read about it, and we will definitely get back to you and discuss.
Yeah.
about it.
Share that moment of like, yeah, I multiclass because this happened. You know, that story, because that's what we're looking for. We want to hear those awesome moments that caused a player to change the course of his character because of something happened, because that's fun. That's what this game's about.
Absolutely. But all right, guys. Until then, keep rolling those nat 3s.
That's the magic number.
Absolutely.
Yep. See you guys.
Take care.